Hi, I'm Elaine. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be doing a fun compilation of videos of what do I pack for food when I'm going on a camping trip. That's me. We're going on a camping trip and we're going with some friends who are not vegan. Actually, I'm the only vegan going on this trip with the group. And I saw their list of food that they are planning to bring and to prepare, and it's different than what, of course, I eat. So, what do I do? Well, stick with me, and we're going to, again, have a few items. I'm going to show you how you can prepare them, have them ready to go. So when you are doing something like camping, you just throw them onto the campfire, and it'll be done in a few minutes or as soon as it's heated up. So don't go away. I hope you stay with me. The first food we're going to tackle are going to be the stuffed bell peppers. And I have sitting here, I don't know if you've ever used millet before, but I like to use it in place of rice. I feel that rice is a food that really is high in carbs and really not much fiber, so I really try to steer clear. The same with quinoa. There are certain brands of quinoa I might find that has like a higher fiber content, but it really becomes a wash. So with the millet, it does have, this particular brand does have 37 carbs and 5 grams of fiber, so that's pretty good. And what I typically do, if you've watched me before, I do a little calculation, and what I do is I take the total carbohydrates and divide it by the amount of fiber, and if it's usually net 5, 1 to 5, not 0, 0 is a wash, but 1 to 5, then it's something that I usually will eat. This one is so close at a 7, but it is still better than the combination with rice. So as an example, let's pretend rice itself is a 37 carbohydrate, which I think there are some brown rice options which are around that. Let's say 37.43. Typically for rice, you may get 0, 1, or maybe 2 at the most as far as fiber is concerned with it. So when you do that calculation, let's just say pretend 36, well then you're looking at 18 net for that. So it's way just way out there. So 7 net carbs, I feel a little bit more comfortable with that. Again, I really don't eat millet all that very much, so but when I'm kind of pressed or wanting that sort of rice dish, again, I'm going to gravitate more towards the millet or some other type grain that's going to have higher fiber. So that's what we're going to use again as the base for these stuffed bell peppers. And typically with millet, you want to soak it overnight. I really don't have that time right now to soak it overnight. So what I'm going to do is place the amount I'm going to use, and I'm going to use my food saver that's going to try to pull the water through the grain. I don't know if it's really going to work, but we're going to try it. With it being a grain and being so hard, it's probably not going to work, but letting it sit for a little bit, at least a little bit of time, it may help to soften it and to kind of allow some of the anti-nutrients in it to dissipate. We're going to go ahead, I'm going to measure out the millet, get it into my marinade container, and run through that process. I'll be right back. I'm ready with the food saver. I absolutely love this food saver, not only because it has helped me preserve a lot of foods that I have, or maybe from my garden, and for example this trip, but it was my mom's, and every time I see it or I use it, I think of her, and I'm gonna get teary-eyed, so I'm not gonna think about that right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 cup of millet into the this little sort of food saver bowl. And if you aren't familiar with millet, that's what it looks like. It's a little kind of a bally pearl looking type texture. And I'm gonna go ahead and pour water in here with it. And I am using a measuring cup, but I didn't really measure it out, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 3, not quite 4, maybe 2.5 to 3 cups is in there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this into the food saver. And on the lid, it has a marinade mode as well as a vacuum and store mode. So I'm gonna switch it to the marinade mode, because what that does, it's really for maybe if I wanted to do a quickle, or if someone is making fish or meat or something and they did not have time to marinate their meat or whatnot. You can use the marinade mode, and it's supposed to pull the liquid through whatever is in it. Again, I've never done it with the millet. Usually you let it sit overnight. I just don't have the time, so I'm trying to see if this will work. And never fear, whenever I'm making something like millet or rice or something like that, I always put more water than what's called for, and I just allow it to boil for the particular time it needs to cook, and then I drain the water off. That way, if there's any arsenic or any sort of anti-nutrient or something that's in it that's not good for us, then it's cooking out into that water, and I'm basically pouring it out or expelling it from the food itself. So, okay, so I have both the water and the millet in this little dish, and this is noisy, so I'm going to mute or lower the volume of it, but I'm gonna go ahead and press the button on until I get that green light. It sounds like I have a little bit of air escaping, so I might not have this completely tight. So I'm just gonna see maybe if I twist that around a bit, if that's a little bit better. I don't really see a change. I did hear something as I was kind of doing that. So I'm gonna do it like 2 or 3 more times, and let's see if it does anything. I hear a little bit of air, and I've not heard that before, so I don't know if, yeah, that was doing it. So let's just take a look and see. The water, of course, is a little cloudy, but that's to be expected when you are working with something like rice or a grain like this. So typically you're gonna get that sort of cloudy water. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this and just kind of keep rinsing it several times to see if there's any more cloud or discoloration that comes from it. And then I'm going to go ahead and just get it started cooking. It typically takes millet about 20 minutes to cook. So I'm just going to set the timer and use that as my go-to. And during the time that we're waiting, we will start chopping up the veggies that we're going to add into the mixture that's then going to stuff our bell peppers. I've placed the millet on the stove. I also added into the water while it is boiling or will be cooking a bit of turmeric and also some lemon pepper seasoning. So that's going to give it somewhat of a flavor for the base of it. And what I'm gonna do while that is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead, I've rinsed and drained the chickpeas. And just a little side note, if you ever want a little something like a meringue, do save the liquid from the fava or the beans. That fava water is great for doing something like that. So just a little kind of tip there for you all. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put those in the bowl. And then other ingredients that I'm going to be adding, I'm just gonna go ahead and just start getting those mixed. And so what I have are some currants. And right now I have a half a cup. I'm just gonna start with like a quarter of a cup, and that may be all that I need. So I'm gonna do that. And once the millet is complete and I get that in there, it'll let me know just by sight what else I may want to add. The millet was starting to boil, so I just set the timer for 20 minutes. And so now we're gonna start chopping up some carrots. And I'm thinking probably about a half cup, but honestly, again, I prefer the veggies more than the grain. So I may do it a little bit more veggie heavy than what some people may like or choose to do. But right now I just kind of have basically a handful of baby carrots. This is probably in the neighborhood of like a half a cup. And then we will see what that looks like in our bowl as we go. And I don't really want it like chopped into the rounds or anything like that. I just want kind of a coarse, rough chop that doesn't really have any sort of size or pattern, you know, to it. So it's just gonna be like a little rough type chop. I'm gonna make sure that millet doesn't boil over. Okay, so I just wanna share what that looks like with you, and I'm gonna place these carrots out of the way. So that's basically the chop. And actually, let's bring you in a little closer so you can see exactly what I'm doing. There was a little camera malfunction once I moved it closer. I thought it was recording, but it was not. So I chopped some carrots and placed them in the bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and just chop a few more to get in there, just so you can see how I chop those. For the carrots, you don't want necessarily a specific, like, exact size. I'm just doing what is called a rough chop. Just make it into smaller pieces. They're gonna be weird shapes, and that's okay because it's just going inside of the mixture. And I do want them small enough so when I place the peppers onto the grill, it's going to cook down. And if it's like a super large piece, it might not cook as well. So again, I'm just doing a rough chop. And as you can see, as I'm going here, look at the beautiful colors already inside of the bowl. Isn't it gorgeous? If you can, eat the rainbow every day for every meal, and that should help you not necessarily have to take medication. Of course, some medication is just you have to for certain ailments and things like that. But as far as your health is concerned, eating the rainbow and trying to keep it as close to being free of just cooking and carcinogens and toxins is so good for your body. And then for the red onion, I'm just going to take it and I'm going to score it. For the red onion, that looks like it's about a half a cup, maybe a little bit over, but that's great. We actually love red onion. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that into my bowl as well. So right now in the bowl, we do have chickpeas, we have carrots, we have currants, we have red onion, and we are missing a couple colors. So we're missing some red, we're missing some green, and we're gonna do that with the lime. We're gonna get some lime zest in there, and I usually do that towards the end. And I may add some parsley in there as well, some fresh parsley right out of the garden for some nice flavor. And we just, again, want to try to get that rainbow in all the foods that we eat. I'm going to grab one more yellow item since I do have my chickpeas in there, which is part of the white family. But I'm going to grab some pineapple, and we'll get that chopped up in there as well. Here's our pineapple, and along with some fresh parsley right out of the garden. So what I did was I purchased pineapple spears from the store, and I'm just going to, and I may need a different knife, I'm just gonna cut it up into bite-sized pieces. And for the sweeteners, like the pineapple, which I limit myself with eating pineapple just because of the amount of sugar in it, but it is a natural sugar that's just naturally occurring in the fruit itself. So that's better for you, but still, sugar is sugar and it acts a certain way in the body. So I'm always just cognizant about different things like that with fruits, just to make sure you don't overdo it. But pineapple does have some great attributes for it. And I'm always thinking about just the benefits of it versus, you know, the sort of, for lack of a better word, the negatives as well. Pineapple is also great just to take and to throw on the grill. So that's always a yummy thing to do with pineapple. It actually makes it sweeter to me. It brings out the sweetness of it. And watermelon, if you've ever tried that. So that looks like a little bit more than I was anticipating. I may just keep some of it out. That's about 3/4 of a cup, it looks like, not quite, of pineapple. But I'm gonna go ahead and get about half of that in there. And as I stir it, if I decide I wanna add the remainder, I will. Or if I wanna add more, I will do that too. And then as far as a little bit of green, that's not only for color, but also for just taste, is going to be parsley. And again, I picked these beautiful stems right out of my garden, which is just wonderful. I'm also packing spinach right out of the garden, lettuce right out of the garden. It's just great to be able to walk outside and get the vegetables that you want, or some fruits out there too that you want for your for cooking. Okay, so the millet is almost ready. We'll go ahead and stop here, and I'll have you join me again. The millet is completely cooked, and the cool thing about millet, if you've not used it before, and if you are a fan of grits, maybe you grew up in the South, millet can actually take the place of grits, and that way you are getting that higher fiber content than I believe with grits, depending on which brand you're looking at. 0 to maybe 1. I think one I've bought before has 2. I think it's Bob's Red Mill may have 2 for their grits, but millet is just great. It can work as a grain like a rice, or even almost like I mentioned, grits, or it's just a great little grain that you can use in a variety of different recipes. So right now, I'm just gonna share again what that looks like in the bowl. I'm just gonna give this a little bit of a stir. And I'm kind of locked into the amount of product that I have here because of that can of chickpeas. So typically I can stuff about 5 or 6 bell peppers. And just a little shout out to my brother. I actually am copying something that he did for a recent barbecue that I attended, a family barbecue. So thank you, brother. I really like the recipe. I have made some modifications, so instead of raisins, I'm using currants. I'm not sure exactly how he seasoned his rice exactly and everything. He actually used rice, but I'm kind of putting in ingredients that not only he did, but I also like. So as an example, his had pineapple. There are times you could add mango instead if you want that sort of flavor, but you can also get very creative. Why not make like a Southwestern one? You know, chop up ingredients, maybe put some black beans in there instead of the chickpeas, and you know, other seasonings that lend itself to being more of that sort of Tex-Mex type flavor. But anyhow, so I am at this point here where I have some of my products that I want, fruits and vegetables that I want in the mixture. I allow the millet to basically drain, and this is what the millet looks like. So if I allow it to continue cooking, again, it can definitely take on that sort of look and feel of grits. So do try that if you're interested in getting some more fiber and you are a grits fan. The other thing I like about it is that it's super easy to like cook. So 20 minutes is not a bad amount of time at all. You know, where if you look at something, let's say like the brown rice, that takes like 40 minutes. So I know in the past where I ate more rice than I do now, I would be like, oh my gosh, do I really want brown rice? 40 minutes, that's a long time. But I would choose it any day over white rice. Okay, so I'm gonna share what this mixture looks like in a second. Another great idea for these is to chop up maybe some zucchini and squash for a different type of stuffed pepper. And I think that looks beautiful. I think a rainbow of colors are always so great. And I think the turmeric that I added into the millet gives it a really nice, appealing color as well. I always recommend tasting your food as you go. So let's just kind of get in here. I don't want that pineapple. That's so good right there. I am gonna add though, not only some lime zest to keep it with that sort of fresh kind of taste, but I'm also going to squeeze in a little bit of the lime juice to also just kind of preserve the appearance of the vegetables and add that extra flavor. Since I am making these ahead of time, I'm planning on throwing them on the grill tomorrow while we're camping, so it's not going to sit around very long. But again, with them sitting for a period of time, this is just going to help that out. So I have my zester here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I love that it's gonna add that green color that we're missing. aside from the red onion, I would like a little bit more red in here. My brother added tomatoes to his. I'm gonna opt out of the tomatoes. It did have great flavor with the tomatoes, and I love the sweetness that tomatoes can bring, but I'm really loving everything as it is right now. I mean, this is actually a meal that you could just make and eat, and it is super yummy. And I really doubt if my friends who are going with us will eat the bell pepper, the stuffed bell pepper, you know, since it does not have meat in it. They may kind of shy away from it, and that's okay. So this does not, or I'm not going to take 5 bell peppers, because if I'm the only one eating it, then I don't want to have leftovers or waste. So I may enjoy a couple of these tonight, and again, just package the others for tomorrow. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And actually, you did not see me do it, but I did scrub clean the lime before zesting it into the mixture. So you definitely want to make sure you do that. I'm going to take the lime and put it into the juicer here, just kind of give that another bit of a stir. I'm going to take another spoon here, just kind of see what did that do. Definitely brought out the flavors. I am just going to add a little bit of pepper to the mixture, a little bit of organic, no salt. I really don't think I need any additional flavoring in this, but I'm going to, and I put the lemon pepper right into the millet as it was cooking, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm thinking I was going to add just a touch of apple cider vinegar. I do think I'm good. I love apple cider vinegar. It's so good for you. So if it is something that you really like, definitely do consider adding it to your mixture and letting me know what you think of that flavor as well. You can stop where I am and then taste it and then add it and let me know what you think. There is the mixture. I think it looks yummy. You see the pops of green, some red, orange, the yellow, the white with the chickpeas. I have my rainbow, so I'm ready to go ahead and stuff these. I'm not going to add the remaining currants or the pineapple or even any more red pepper. I think the way the mixture looks right now, it's beautiful. So I will stop here. If you want to go ahead and add additional ingredients to yours, do. That's the fun of cooking. You can make it exactly the way you like it. So I'm going to grab the bell peppers, clean those up. I'll go ahead and core them with you, and we will get stuffing and wrapping them up for transportation. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. So I have my bell pepper. I have washed and cleaned them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to, and I can start this way by just cutting right around, but I'm just gonna cut into it and just kind of lightly score all the way around the bell pepper, just to remove that top. And I'm just gonna reach in there. I'm gonna go around with my knife and I'm just gonna cut like the side that is connecting it to the wall of the vegetable itself. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a twist, and that's out of there. I'm just gonna reach in to the parts that did not just happen to fall right out and just pull those right out or cut right out. And if I see any remaining, I don't know if that's called pith or not, but any remaining of just that sort of white texture, I'm just going to pull that or cut that right out of there. So this is my first bell pepper right there. And I'm gonna do the same thing. And if you're really careful and you kind of want just like more of the top of that bell pepper, you can take your knife and just go ever so carefully right around that little top piece. My knife is a little sharp, so it cut a little further than I want it to. But this way too, you can take it and again, just kind of twist that top up and off, and that kind of gets that. It limits you a little bit more on being able to get the sort of remainder that's in there. And you can always rinse it out on the inside to remove any of the seeds that are in there, because that will make it a little bit hotter. And whenever I do this, when I'm doing stuffed peppers, I feel like by trying to leave the top on there, I kind of do more damage to the sides of it, because I can't exactly get in there to get the rest of the sides out of it. I have my beautifully colored peppers ready. I'm going to take a few sheets of aluminum foil and I'm going to kind of create like a diamond pattern with them, if you can kind of see, and lay those down on the board. I'm going to take my first pepper, let's start with the green one, and I'm basically just going to stuff it. Isn't that gorgeous? So then I'm just gonna take it, put it right in the center of my aluminum. Let me move these guys off to the side. So I'm just gonna put it right in the center of my aluminum, and I'm just going to fold it closed. So I'm just gonna overlap over the mixture. And then I'm going to do the second one the same, just making sure that it's nice and tight. That's it. I also, this is going to be the first time I'm actually traveling with them. So I actually have this little like cake transport, you know, with the plastic lid. So I think that's going to work really nicely. So, and then when I'm there, all I have to do is take the aluminum foil, sit it right on the grill, and it's going to be perfect. And it should take about 10 minutes to cook. I will try to do an update with this video of me being there and actually cooking it right on the campfire. And hopefully I remember, and hopefully I take everything so my cell phone doesn't die. So we will see. there. I am really packing those full because I am hoping, and I'm just lightly tapping it down, and you see I have more room in there, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more. I'm hoping I just have enough for these 4 and I don't have any leftovers, so that way I know that I won't waste any food there at the campsite. And same thing, we're just gonna wrap these up. Well, I don't know how I could have made that more perfect. All of the mixture stuffed my kind of maybe 3 3/4 bell peppers. And gonna go ahead and get this last one wrapped closed and into my pan. And some people ask, why do you use two sheets of aluminum? The reason being, like I just ripped that, is sometimes aluminum rips. So it's great just to have that kind of backup to make sure it's nice and wrapped. So there you'll have it in the cake pan. I'm gonna take that out. Whoa. And see if that will fit. It doesn't exactly, but that's okay. I kind of just like it anyhow, just like that. So I may tie something around just to keep that lid kind of on there. It's not really doing much, but just mentally thinking maybe for a little bit of protection. So, but that is complete and ready to transport. Again, I will try to share what this looks like as far as going onto the campfire grill, and then also when I open it up and take that first bite. So I hope you do stick around. Thank you for joining me. I hope you find this recipe not only interesting and visually beautiful, but very, very tasty. Please do continue to join me. I hope you do like, subscribe, and share this video. If there's some vegan content that you'd like to learn about or hear about, that's another great comment to leave me below. Please do so, and it may be my next video. I hope you're healthy and well. Take care, and bye for now. Thank you for sticking around for the bonus edition of this video. So if you saw the additional peppers that I had in the background and you're wondering, hey, she has a lot of peppers left over, I wonder what is she going to do with those? There's so many different things that you can do with peppers, but since I am going on this camping trip, I am packing hummus for as a snack. So what's a great thing to dip into hummus? You may be saying crackers, pita, chips. What about peppers? So I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys sliced up and into a little food saver bag, and that's another option that you can do. If I think I have too many peppers for this trip, another great thing that you can do with the food saver bag is just chopping them up and freezing them. So when you do need some bell pepper for a recipe, you got them already diced. Just thaw them out in a hot cup of water and they are ready to go. But it's always great to include such beautiful colors just in your meal time or snack time. So try definitely replacing chips that are processed, it's basically dead food that gives your body no benefit whatsoever, with something like peppers. I hope this little small segment and tip of what you can do with any leftover foods is very beneficial to you. Again, like, subscribe, share, and join me again. Bye for now.